Hey crafty friends, this is Dana, and I'm going to be doing the March card draw from the Stacy Story by Stacy story deck. And I've got everything out here, and this is for the Coast to Coast CTMH Collaboration March Challenge. So let's get started. I've got ready, set, go, and we'll do a bonus challenge. We'll start with the ready and work our way down to the bonus challenge. So I'm going to separate the cards here, and let's see, we'll just pull from the middle here. And the first one we have is blessings, and that talks about serendipity, miracles, karma, gratitude, counting your blessings and paying it forward. Our set card, let's see what we can come up with here. I'm going to pull kind of from the back. Map. So an infographic, a brochure, trails, menu, destination, historical, or something with your state or country perhaps. For our go card, separate these out and let's pick here. One big photo, an all-time favorite, a self-portrait, heritage, school portrait, full page, nature background, or perhaps a family photo. Now keep in mind, these are simply suggestions. They're not anything that you have to stick to. Now for our bonus card, let's just go right here in the middle. And we're going to do super simple. Now we just did super simple in February, so I am going to put that back in the deck. And let's pull something else just to kind of keep it fun and doing something a little bit different each month. Not that we can't duplicate, but I hate to have to do something, you know, too many months back to back. So ink or paint. So here we've got splatter, brushed, smushing, spritz, painted, stamped. So those are some ideas for you for your jumping off point. Remember, we like to use the hashtag. So for March, we'll be using hashtag or pound sign C2C MAR for March, and then 23. So again, that's C2C MAR 23. So please share your work with us. We'd love to see what you can create with these Jumpstart cards, and we will see you soon. Thanks so much. Bye everybody.
Our drawings this month were blessings, map, one big photo, ink or paint. So what I've gathered is I went through my photos, and I don't have a lot of one big photos, but I do have this one, and it was from when my cousin was getting married. And this is basically our whole big family. I have an uncle on my dad's side and then two cousins over there, but I don't even really know the cousins as adults. So this is it. This is our family. And we may not be big, but we are definitely mighty. So this is my one big photo, and it's on his wedding day. They got married at the Ohio Renaissance Festival. So that's definitely a blessing. So then I went online to the festival site and I pulled this map, because when we got there, part of the process of getting married is you actually all parade basically to the, where's the chapel? Oh, the chapel over here. And then afterwards, so this one is more quiet, but then after their couple is married, it's with great fanfare and horns and drums. And so it was a lot of fun. So I have my map, I have my one big photo. It's definitely a blessing. And then I thought what I would do for ink, because it's the Renaissance Festival, I went into my stencils, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this well. I'll see if maybe this helps. But I thought I would choose this cobblestone stencil and use it with some ink. And then that would take care of our ink or paint. It doesn't specifically say here to have that with a stencil, but that's what I'm going to use. And then here are all of the die cuts I've pulled. It was in the fall that we went, so I'm going to do some fall leaves. And then I'm going to do some hearts, and I have this one heart. So I'm using this not as a background, but to have all the hearts. I think We Are Family is going to be my title. This is another leaf, so I will cut those off screen. I'm back and I wanted to show you some of the paper that I found. So this is True Love, and it doesn't necessarily match the colors that I was looking for to use with this photo, except for it has this beautiful sapphire piece that I thought would work really well. It also had a whole sheet of flowers with great margins on them, and so I wanted to show you how I used the scan and cut, and I cut out the whole 12 by 12 sheet. So what I did there is I went on the internet and just printed out a small sample that was similar to what I had used from the True Love papers. And now I had put 2 pieces of papers, different patterns on there, and I decided, just for the sake of time, that I would just select the one with the sunflowers on it, and all of that looks good. And I went ahead and made a border around it of 0.04, just because it doesn't cut, like you might see a little bit of the background color, but it just blends right in with things. So I went ahead and did that, and then I cleaned up some of the images, or I could have, but I decided I didn't care if it cut extra pieces out. It was just easier than deleting all the other little cuts that I didn't need. But you can see here how it cut it pretty clean, and then I pulled those off the sheet, and that's what I have left. So now we're going to jump back into the scrapbook layout here, and I'm starting with that pattern paper with the sapphire background. And then you can see the leaves and flowers and such that I used the die cut or the scan and cut to get from one of the pattern papers from that True Love paper. And originally I thought I was going to actually use the heart on the layout, but after I cut these borders with it was a really old thin cut, and I will have all the supplies that I use in my description under the video. So if there's anything that's available, that'll be a link for it. And then if there's things that aren't by close to my heart, there'll be a link for that as well. I do receive a small portion as a thank you from Amazon for any of the things that you purchase through them if you click on my link first. So I just thought I would let you know that. And I went ahead and, using the heart kind of as a guide, I put around 1 row of the leafy vines, and then the second row on top I kind of pinched them in half so that it gave more fluff and substance to that heart. And I'm going to use a big flip flap here. Close to My Heart sells 8 by 12 inch flip flaps, and I just thought, with this big photo and having the map of the Renaissance Festival, and then I don't have a lot of photos from this particular weekend, which is funny because it was a wedding, but I have this one photo, and so I wanted to make sure to tell the full story of things that happened over the course of the weekend. I did go online to the Ohio Renfest site, and that's where I got the map from. And then to figure out how to cut off, because I don't need the full 12 inches of this flip flap, I'm just marking it with a pen of where I want the edge to be. And I will cut that off camera, but then to seal that edge, I just have this really thin score line, the red score tape. And this is a nice tight hold, but it doesn't, like, I don't even see it really in real life unless I'm truly looking for it. So it just makes a nice seam along the edge of this flip flap, and then you can customize it to whatever size works for your photos. And that's true with all of the flip flaps that Close to My Heart sells. And I needed to do some inking to meet the challenge, and so I grabbed my texture paint, and I wanted to show you here. I have these cases that I think are for beads or for also some essential oils, but I use them for our reinkers, and I absolutely love them for that. So I'm putting 7 drops, you can't see that, of this rosemary reinker, and I chose rosemary because it's a gray green. It turns out to be a little more green than I had anticipated, but it's fine for where we were and kind of that mossy garden wall effect. I think it worked out perfect. I had entertained the idea of going back and doing a layer with some black and then doing a layer with gray, and I decided instead of doing that, I would just use some splatters to bring some color to the the bricks and just break up the full cobblestone of green area on this. And I wanted it a little bit lighter, so I'm trying to give it different shades, so that's why I had some of the texture paste that I hadn't blended in yet so that I could lighten up the color later. And one of the things that has worked for me for my texture paste to keep it good is I have a small piece of press and seal that every time I use my texture paste, I spray about 4 or 5 mists of water on top of it and then put the press and seal on top. So I've cleaned up my stencil and my spatula and all of that because it will dry fast and then you have to chisel it off. So by cleaning it when it's still wet, it just comes right off. And then here I'm using the Dana Weekly sprays, but instead of spraying them, I'm like everybody else I've seen on YouTube, I'm going ahead and just using the tube for it and just splattering it on there. So you can see I did all the journaling, and it's funny, I have a minstrel font on my computer, and I thought how appropriate that was for the Run Fest. So here I'm going to put my map down and I am going to adhere it. So there's tape on it now, and then I start my flip flap so that I have a good piece to pull the plastic up on, and that way it's less likely to move once I do finally get it in place. I'm fighting against the leaves that are under the photo. I specifically did not put any adhesive under that map next to the edge because I knew I was going to be slipping this under, but I was fighting with the leaves and the hearts on that, but finally got there and it all came together perfectly. So now I thought originally I was going to do my title in the upper left corner, but this bottom corner is just looking for kind of the title, and I did it in this light color. It's actually in Colonial White because my husband's alb, we borrowed that from a pastor friend of ours, is that cream color, and then my aunt and uncle's blouses under their costumes are white. So it kind of gives that triangle of a white going on, again, to just visually bring your eye to the photo. And then all of those hearts and little flowers, they were tedious to put on. I'm not gonna, sugarcoat that, but with a pair of tweezers and I just make a pool of glue, you dip them in and you put them down, and it didn't go, it really didn't take that long to do it. Once I realized what direction I wanted to go in, I brought more of the small cuts down onto the mat so that they're just closer to me, so I'm not always reaching up to that cutting board, but they're just right there. Dip them in the glue and then put them on. And this to me again is kind of the garden wall with the flowers, or they weren't really weeds, but they definitely were not a tailored flower garden growing up along the rock walls at the Run Fest. They were more of a country field kind of feel to them. So I'm trying to emulate that same feel here. And then on my journaling, I wanted to have another spot of that. So you can see that in the very upper screen. And as I'm finishing doing all of these embellishing areas, there was just this open spot on the map that just called for a heart. So I could, again, when it's open, have those 3 areas of hearts along with flowers. When it's closed, you'll see that I will have flowers in the bottom corner and then up in the upper right corner as well. So this is my layout, and I met the prompts. If you want to see, make sure that you go to the description to see what everybody else did this month. And then this is what we're going to do for April. I hope you can join us. Hello crafty friends, Amanda here, and I'm going to do the draw for our April challenges for the Coast to Coast collaboration. These are the Story by Stacy deck, and there's an exclamation about how these work. What we do is we just randomly pick one card from each of these. So our ready is value and beliefs. Our set, bullet points. Well, that could be interesting. Our go, pocket cards, and then our bonus card, super simple. So you can join us in creating a layout that incorporates these. You can do all or none of them. Just be sure to include the hashtag C2C April 23. Thanks for stopping by, and do remember to check out the playlist and all the other coast to coast creators. There are more than just the 4 of us now, and we welcome you to join us. There'll be links for our Facebook group so that you can have access to the videos, and if you need help with creating videos, we will be more than happy to do that as well. Blessings.